The Without Fear of Her Future podcast is for women who are passionately pursuing financial freedom through investing in real estate. We are here to empower you to be brave, dream big, and design a life you love. I'm your co-host, Tresa Todd, founder of the Women's Real Estate Investors Network and author of the book, Without Fear of Her Future.
And I'm Melissa Baker, real estate investor and fitness coach specializing in turning properties from drab to fab. I'm here to help motivate and inspire you to build your dream life because, girl, you deserve it. Welcome back, Without Fear of Her Future listeners. I have a question for you today. When negative or bad things happen, what is your immediate thought?
Ooh. Yeah, the question is, do you go straight to the negative? Or maybe even the blame game, or, oh, it should have been, or it could have been, or it would have been, all of the negatives. Or do we look for the light in the darkness, that silver lining? Do we stand in our faith, knowing that God is in control, and we look to the positive no matter what?
Yeah. This episode is about mindset and faith put together in creating your new thought processes that will have you soaring to heights you've only dreamed of.
You know, I love this because I do believe in the power of positive thinking.
Yes.
However, I think when you add faith to that, that is where, because just positive thinking is just positive thinking. But when you really have your faith in something that causes the positive things to happen in your life, that brings another whole element to it.
It absolutely does. Our faith can really push things into action,
Absolutely.
right? Yeah.
Absolutely.
So we might not choose our every thought, but we do get to control how much power they have in our lives. So we get to take every thought captive. That's biblical.
Absolutely. Taking every thought captive. Let's just talk about that for a minute. I mean, that literally means when you have a thought that is not healthy, that it is bringing fear, bringing anxiety, we can take it captive and go, wait a minute, is this true? Is there even an ounce of truth to this thing? And if not, let's cast that thought down.
Yeah, I don't know what the percentage is, but I know there's the percentage of like a really huge percent of things that we worry about actually never come to fruition.
Yes.
I don't know what the percentage is, but it's one of those things that it becomes something in our mind, our thoughts. If we stay on it, those negative thoughts, and we kind of just ruminate on them, it just makes you sick inside.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
And taking every thought captive, although this is biblical, it's not just for believers. Anyone can do this if you don't want to be controlled by your every passing thoughts, because our thoughts can really make or break our days.
Absolutely.
Your moods.
Yeah. I agree. In Philippians, the Bible literally says whatever is true. There's so much power in that. Whatever is true, whatever is honorable, whatever is just, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is commendable, whatever is excellent or worthy of praise. Think on these things.
Yes.
That is so powerful because that's not typically what we do.
Right.
We want to think on those things that we're worried about. We want to think on the bills. We want to think about what we're lacking. I've gained 5 pounds. And we can just think, and we can just run away with those thoughts instead of thinking about whatever is really true, what is good, what is pure, and think on those things. It just makes us happier.
Absolutely. It's important to know what's true. Right? When you're thinking on these things, that way you can take your thoughts and understand, is what I'm thinking actually a truth, or, is it something that I can definitely put aside? Because if we don't know what's true, we don't know what to believe in.
That's right.
So you need to know what to believe in before you can respond to anything. So it's important to also know what your own beliefs and values are and be really rooted in those and stand firm on those things so that you can recognize when your thoughts don't line up with those values and belief systems that you have.
For some reason, the average person is drawn more to the negative to the positive. Right. We see this on social media. Somebody can post something negative, and there will just be, within minutes, sometimes hundreds of negative comments. somebody can post something positive and it may get some likes.
Yeah.
And it may get a few comments, but people will pass that by. But they want to jump on the bandwagon with something negative and then repost it and share it. And it drives me insane.
I think people just like to complain sometimes. And they like to be on that negative side of things. You know, that negative thinking, that negative way of thinking is like waiting for the shoe to drop, the next shoe to drop, right?
Absolutely.
You know, you've heard that saying, if they didn't have bad luck, they've had no luck at all.
Yes.
You know?
Absolutely.
Why are we drawn to those negative things? I know that it's become, I would say, almost a practice or an awareness for me to, when I hear the negative things, I like to shift it to the positive or look at the positive. You know, there's got to be something good about the situation or about what's happening or whatever it is, or there has to be a reason behind what's happening and it's going to be good, or it's, you know, I tend to not just fall into that negative, but it's been an awareness and a practice that I've had to work on to get to that point. You know?
I agree. Here's the deal. I came from my mother was so positive. She was so upbeat and so positive, and I think I was just raised in that. So I tend to have a very positive mindset, expecting the best all of the time, expecting God's favor, expecting miracles, expecting blessings. And then even when it doesn't happen in that particular instance, not falling apart and not just, oh my God, this is horrible and I'm going to die, and blah, blah. But to just go, okay, well, the next season, the next phase of this thing is going to be okay. What, like you just said, what good can I take from this disaster or this, you know, thing that just happened?
You know, I stand firm. There's a scripture, and I know you've heard me talk about it a lot before because it's something that I really stand on, that says that God causes all things to work together for our good. So I believe that even when things look bleak and bad, whether it's on the news or in real life or happening to a friend, you know, to think on and pray about the good that can come from this. Even when we can't see it, you've got to know that it's there. You've got to believe that it's there. That's my perspective anyway. Yeah. And that's, I think, what keeps me from going down that deep, dark rabbit hole of negativity, right? It just, that leads to nowhere, right? But misery. Yeah. Really. I mean, who likes to be around someone who's complaining and negative all the time?
Yes. You just reminded me of something. Nobody wants, well, I just literally read something the other day that people are drawn to happy people.
Oh, yeah.
And there, I mean, listen, there's enough negativity in the world, but I have to tell the story. There was a lady that I worked with many years ago. She worked in a different department, but we all had to send our patients to her, you know, periodically. This woman was one of the most negative women. Every single time we had to walk, I would walk a patient over, and it wasn't just me, it was my whole team, because we, you know, was something that we often mentioned to each other. She always acted like we could not have done it at a worse time. She doesn't have time. She didn't sleep last night. It was negative. And every single time. Well, what was really interesting is one time she came in, she brought her mother in as a patient, and then her sister came with her on that appointment. And I was doing the workup. And so I was testing her, you know, eyes and all of that, the mother's. And I am telling you, that mother was so negative. Oh, she was telling me about all the other doctors she had been to and how she was going to sue this doctor, and that doctor was horrible, and it was just negative. Well, now the lady that works there is just chiming in, and then her sister is chiming in too. And I mean, it was for 30 minutes I was in that room. It was like they were just vomiting every negative thing. And I was like, that was literally passed down. I don't know how far it started before that mama, but that mother had literally, you know, it was now both of those daughters. It was just nothing but negativity. And I'm thinking, now have they passed it on to their kids and to their families? And what a horrible way to live.
Yeah. So it's important to, when you're having conversations with family, with friends, to pay attention and look for those patterns in people so that you can get some of that negative out or correct some behavior of the negativity, because that negativity is going to bring you down. I can remember, actually when I was expecting my first baby, and I had decided to go with a completely natural birth with a midwife, not even at a hospital. And I was really excited about it. And one of my best friends who was planning to be there for me at the birth, all I could hear was the 10 negative stories about her deliveries and what had happened and what had gone wrong. And if I hadn't been in a hospital and and she just would go on. And I finally just had to tell her, like, you can't be there. I can't have, I don't want to hear any more about it. And I was really focusing on and reading about, delivering naturally, what that looked like, how I could do it. And I kind of stayed in my positive, and she wasn't there, which was sad because she was, my best friend at the time. But I couldn't have that negativity and those thoughts coming into my mind. I knew that there was any delivery has risks.
Absolutely.
But anyway, so those negative people, getting them out, those thoughts.
And I think that we all have to ask ourselves, am I negative?
Yeah.
Do I have a negative mindset? Do I have a positive mindset? And here's also, we can have very positive mindset about some things. Mm-hmm. And then still have a very negative mindset about other things without realizing that. Yeah. And again, we do pass it down and we pick it up. Mm-hmm. We pick it up unknowingly from listening to other people.
And then repeat it.
Exactly. Have you ever walked into a room and somebody's just carrying on about something and you just jump right into the middle of the conversation and then the next person walks in and you drag them into and the whole thing was just blah.
Yeah.
When I want to be the person in the room that's bringing that conversation up. And let's talk about something positive. Let's talk about the things that are going on in the world. Mm-hmm. Listen, we all know they're going on in the world, but we don't have to talk about it and drag each other down.
Yeah, and stay focused on the negative when we could turn it to, because there's a lot of positive going on in the world too.
Absolutely.
It's just that doesn't make the news usually. Right? And the news programs, I just want to put this out there. The news programs are out there to sell their program. So there might be giving some facts.
Sales and negativity sales.
It does. They're getting some facts in their stories, yes, but they're also putting their own agenda or view on it, depending on who's advertising with them, I think.
Yeah, so we got to lift it up, make it positive, and we get to choose that. I love to be around positive people. And the world is a dark place, and it needs more positivity. And so if you have fallen into this negative mindset that you're always, and the number one thing about negative mindset, I think, does come from fear.
Yeah.
Fear of everything. And so we have to steer clear of that, and we can only be responsible for ourselves.
Yeah,
and how much of the negative we let in.
Absolutely. So here's another question for you, listeners: is not only what is your first kind of response or thought when something bad or negative comes out, but at what point does it occur to you to pray about it and to give it to God?
Yeah,
That's one of, I would like to say it's my first response. I know it's not always, depends on the situation, of course, but I feel like that should be our first response. I was just in a Bible study this week talking about when Jesus fed the 5,000 with the 5 loaves and 2 fish. And, the disciples had come up with their plan to let the people go into the villages for dinner. It was time to eat. They knew they'd be hungry because they were hungry. They had been working. They were tired. They were, and they didn't pray or seek the Father's advice as what do we do with the situation? And Jesus was immediate to say, you feed them.
Yeah.
He had a plan. So I think for us to take it to him and say, Lord, what do I do with this? Where do I take this? How do I pray for this? For me, that always helps me get back into that positive, because I know that I feel like if it's not good, God's not finished yet.
That's right.
He's
got a
working.
good plan. He's got a good plan.
Yeah.
A rule that I had set for myself is, and I don't always remember it, but as much as I possibly can, whenever I do get bad news, like when something happens, the first thing we want to do is phone a friend. That's really the first thing that we want to do. We want to tell somebody about it.
Yes.
And one of the things that I started trying to do years and years ago is I would even say this out loud. No, before I call my friend, I want to talk to God first.
Yeah.
God, what are you saying about this situation? And I want to talk to you about it before, because here's what tends to happen. When I call a friend, it usually turns into gossip. It can turn really easy into us slandering something or the gossiping about something or even falling into a negative,
especially if
pathway.
you haven't prayed about it.
Especially. But if you pray about it first and it automatically gets your mind linked with God's and having a different perspective about the situation. Right. Because, we tend to get a little bit holier the minute we talk to God. Like, okay, now I got to get a holy perspective on this. And that's where we should. Yeah. That's exactly what it should look like.
I do that. Speaking of the first things that we do when I'm in the car sometimes, and I've been on the phone with somebody and I hang up the phone, I'm kind of like, okay, who can I call next? I'm driving. I might have, podcast on or my music, but I want to talk to somebody else and I've been really convicted lately where the Lord's like, hello.
Yeah.
Talk to me.
I'm
right here.
That's so good. So good. Yeah. I love it. Some of the benefits of just positive thinking and walking in our faith is living from that faith-filled perspective versus that negative, fearful perspective and just having this broader outlook. Wow, it's going to cause so much less stress and anxiety. We can uplift ourselves, uplift others, encourage ourselves. Even David said that he encouraged himself. He didn't say he encouraged himself. He encouraged himself. He would say, he said, hey, soul, why are you so downcast?
Yeah. Yeah.
So sometimes we have to ask ourselves, why am I so downcast? Why am I acting like this? Why am I thinking like this? We trust in a God that loves us, that wants the best for us. So it doesn't matter what's going on in our life, what bad news that we have received. God wants good for us, and let's expect that. Let's look for that. Let's keep our eyes looking to the hills where the help comes from.
And that's the thing, though, is that a lot of times in the bad or negative situations, you have to look for the good. It's not obvious. It's not always obvious. But when you look, you'll find it. It's there. And I think that's a practice that if you aren't currently doing, I would say I challenge you to start looking for those positives in the negative situations, in the hard times, in the bad things. Bad things are going to happen. He didn't promise to save us from the bad things, but he promised to be there in the bad.
That's exactly right.
So we're not alone. We're never alone. Yep. And we can turn things into a positive with his perspective.
Absolutely. Absolutely. He wants good things for us. I think that we get what we talk about. We get what we anticipate. And if we're anticipating the other shoe to drop, the other shoe will drop. But
because we'll find a way to find it.
That's exactly.
We're going to watch for the other shoe to drop.
Yes. But if we're always looking for the good, we don't even notice when the other shoe dropped because we're just looking for the good and we see the good. We see the blessings. We see the favor. And that does not mean that bad things didn't happen all along the way, but that wasn't what we were focused on.
Right.
Because so many times we will focus on that one negative thing and not even recognize all the millions of good things that are happening.
Yes. What is it that I have heard you say this many times and I love it. It's when things are happening, you ask the Lord, how am I to glorify you in this season? Isn't that what you say?
Yes.
And I love that because I think that God is definitely teaching us things in those moments. And if you can't see the good, if you can't find it, then ask God, Lord, what are you teaching me in this? And how do I glorify you with what's going on?
Yeah.
Because ultimately that's what we're to do.
Absolutely. Well, I have really come to believe that everything is a season. I mean, we've got all these different seasons in our life. And so it all started, I think the first time is when my mom was dying. I was devastated, but I was like, okay, God, I want to glorify you in this season. I'm going to walk through this with her. And I wanted my mindset to be right. I did not, because I wanted to fall apart. I wanted to, and there were moments that I definitely did, but overall I was like, okay, God, I know instead of thinking about I'm losing my mother, I'm going to think about how blessed I was to have her. Yeah. How she has taught me all the things about just being a woman and loving God and all the things. She passed down my love for pink and shopping and all the things. I'm going to think about the positive things. And in this season, I want to please you. So since then, every time I have a new season, it's like, okay, Lord, how can I please you in this season? Yeah. And when we chop things up to seasons, it seems a little easier. Right. It's not like I've got to do this my whole life. Yeah. It's just, okay, for this season. Right. It's kind of like when we're doing a plank or whatever. Yeah. We'll say, hey, we can do anything for 30 more seconds. We can do anything. And it's that I can do anything for this season. Yeah. So I'm going to stay positive for this season. I'm going to trust you for this season.
Mm-hmm. And that's really what it comes down to is trusting in him. Yeah. And that's where I think that our faith definitely guides us in the being positive, is being able to go to the Father and know that he has bigger and better than we could even think or imagine.
Yes.
Yes. Always.
And I think we've both been blessed to see, we've both experienced some horrible loss in our life in several different ways. Yes. And yet here we are. Yeah. God has pulled us out of the miry clay every single time, put our feet back on the sand, and just kept us going, and then just blesses us over and over and over. And so
that's what he wants to do. This isn't just for us. It's not just for believers. He wants to bless his people for those who put their faith in him. That's right. So I guess it is for believers. We can scratch that part.
Well, sometimes we thrive on that negative or the sad or the drama because it's all kind of like the story that I told where the mother, obviously raised her kids in the negative. Maybe that's what you were raised around. Sometimes it's deeper. Sometimes, people, I know some of our listeners, they've experienced traumatic experiences and horrible things that led them to believe in their heart that only bad things happen to them. Nothing good can happen. They're not worthy of good. And the thing I want you to hear us saying is that's a lie of the enemy. Yeah. God does have good plans for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Literally, Jeremiah 29:11. For I know the plans that I have for you. They're for good. They're to prosper you, to bless you, not to harm you. Mm-hmm.
And to give you a hope and a future. And if you keep going with that, he also says that when you seek him with all of your heart, you will find him. So if you don't know him yet, seeking him, you'll find him.
That's right. Go so good. Mm-hmm. Preach it. Preach it, girl. So again, we get what we expect. Yeah. We get what we anticipate. And that's the beautiful thing. So what are you anticipating? What is it? Are you looking for the good? I really
change that mindset today. Start recognizing when your thoughts go negative and change them. Take them captive. Take a hold of it and say no. Think on the positive, and it's a practice. It doesn't just happen naturally. I think we do naturally, like you said earlier. We naturally gravitate to the negative and the woe is me. Mm-hmm. We're not victims. We're not going to be victims. We are conquerors. We are victorious in the Lord, and so we're going to stand our ground there. But when these things happen, it is easy to wallow and be sad. And I'm not saying you don't get to. We get to be sad for a minute. We can wallow for a minute.
That's right.
But then start looking for the positive because you don't want to get dragged into that. You don't want that to become who you are, right? We need to look towards the positive. And so our challenge for today's discussion is to encourage you to pay attention to what and how you think. Because our thoughts are so powerful. We might as well use them for good and for positive, life-changing things.
Amen. Yeah. Well, thanks for joining us today. We bless you. Be brave and dream big.
Listeners, if you're aiming for financial freedom, dreaming of designing a life you absolutely love, or just curious about how real estate can transform your future, you're in the right place.
Yes, ladies, if that sounds like what you want, our masterclass is the key. It's easy to understand, super straightforward, and packed with all the secrets you need to start investing in real estate confidently and successfully. Why wait to build your dream future? Join us and let us make your dreams a stunning reality.
Just click the masterclass link in the notes below.
And we can't wait to begin this journey with you.